What's up, y'all? Welcome back again to Jay and
Ray.
Yes, sir, where we talk about God, family, business, whatever comes up that day.
Yep.
You feel me? We didn't touched on a few subjects already. If y'all with us, we didn't touched on family,
How we met, the
the kids.
the shop, the business.
Yep.
Yep.
So I think we're gonna get into the big God today.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, Lord and Savior.
Mm-hmm.
You know that Jesus Christ.
Yes.
You know, can't do it without him. So I think we need a dedicated episode. So I think even why we're here today.
For sure.
You know, so and just how we got into him and why we feel y'all need to get into your word, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll start today.
You're gonna start today.
I'm gonna start today. All right, I'll start it off for y'all. I was a Jesus kid. I was one of those kids that grew up in the church.
Okay.
Since when I was little, since I could remember, I've always been in some kind of church, you know, listen to them hymns where you have to break out the Bible and they, you know, I don't know who y'all still got them hymns where it be in them pews and you have to reach in front and you have to pull out if y'all still go to them kind of churches, you know, but I was in that kind of church, where it made you talk, where you had to be involved. So like, since I was a kid from like to 10, I went to like Holman, 10, 11, I went to Holman. I did Bible school.
Okay.
I did everything. Everything. I did where we had to ring the bells. Mm-hmm. I did the choir. Just anything to do with God during those times. Children's church, all that little stuff. I was in it. Which sets like the groundwork.
It's important.
And the foundation for like what's to come. Because if you don't know who you serve from the beginning, I think that's very important because he says like teach them the way and they won't depart. So if you kind of got that, even if you leave them for a little bit,
start off like that,
you know, it'll kind of make your way back to what you know, you know. So that's what I think is started off going on. During like middle school, so I was up to like middle school, nothing really special there, just made us learn the Lord's Prayer, all that kind of stuff when I was a child. But in middle school, we kind of stopped going to church. In high school, so I didn't go to church as much during those years. And you know, during those years, you're trying to find yourself.
That's the important years.
Type of thing. So most of my friends, I don't know about y'all friends, my friends wasn't talking about Jesus every day. That wasn't a normal conversation that came up in our friend circle, you know, during high school or middle school. So that was kind of that time. But I had a crazy experience coming out of high school that brought me back to God. Okay. It was me and my friend. We was being crazy as normal, you know, it was like 18-year-olds is doing at that time. We trying to find ourselves. We just came out of high school. You just searching. I remember I used to smoke weed. Big S-U-S-E-D. I don't even know how to spell it. Used to smoke weed. So me and my friend, we had just smoked like this particular day, like 5.
Ridiculous.
Like 5 blunts, y'all, at least to the head. Just me and him too. So we're out of our minds, right? And we was like, since we so high, we should go see the Kevin Hart. No, not Kevin Hart. We should go see the Marlon Wayans movie. That was the movie with like the what was that movie?
Is that the
what was that movie called? I don't know. It's been so many years.
Something.
Haunted, yes, the Haunted, whatever that
the first one.
Yes. Whatever that haunted house movie was with Marlon Wayans.
Maybe it was Haunted House.
Yeah, maybe Haunted House.
Yeah.
Yeah. The credits was funny. The credits seemed funny. APR Crockett like doing stuff. I remember that. So we was like, man, we high. We right here. We was right there like Magic. We were his Magic movie theater. We was like, we about to go in here and have a good time, right? Remember, we bought our tickets, whatever. We go in. So mind you, like I said, we didn't smoke 5 blunts. So, you know, we are high. Like you could have said boo and we just been screaming laughing, right? Haunted House movie. So I remember we get in there and we go all the way to the top. And it was interesting because the movie was full. So it was popular. The movie was full. We sit down and it's like before we even started, it was like a couple and they had like a young kid, like a real young kid. Like a kid was like 2 years old, 2.5, 3 max. No. Right? That was how we started. So we started watching the movie, and I remember all that highness just went to where I'm completely coherent. Like I had never done that. It's like you just drunk and you falling over drunk to where you just stand up sober. Like life don't normally go like that, right? It don't work like that. So I remember that was the first moment where I knew something was kind of happening. So I remember looking at Sheldon, like we did that, you do that telepathic kind of like, am I tripping? You tripping? You see it when I see it? So we watched like maybe we like 25 minutes in. I remember they going crazy. He was like having sex with ghosts and just crazy stuff was in the movie, right? So I remember looking back at the little kid again, and the kid is just in it, eyes huge, just watching this. And I remember thinking in my head, like, a little kid should not be watching this. This is like super R. This is like R to the core, right? Sure. I remember thinking a little kid should not be watching this right now. To the point where me and Sheldon had to look at each other again and be like, you feeling what I'm feeling? He's like, hey, Sheldon's like, hey, we gotta get out of here. We got it. Something's going on. I don't know what you feel, but I gotta get out of here. I remember we came back outside, and both of this is very interesting. As soon as we came back out of the movie, my high came back. Like I was not high. As soon as we came back, it was right back, stumbling over high. We go outside. I remember us being so scared. It was like super late at night. We were so scared, like just looking around because we knew something like spiritual was going on. Like just from knowing, like I said, the past background of just coming up in God. Like I hadn't had nothing spiritual, supernatural kind of happen to that point. Well, I did. Well, I'll go back to go forward. I'll finish the story. But I didn't have nothing supernatural to that extent with a friend happen before. So we was just tripping. And I remember going home afterwards. Like he took his bus ride home. I took my bus ride home. I remember getting in the bed and like being like, nah, this was different. Like this is a different feeling, right? Like this is different, God. And I just came back to, like you said, where if you teach them young, you'll come back. And I remember having my Bible for so many years. So I just cracked my Bible and I'm like, God, that was something different. Like, if you're real, like if this is real right now, because I was high and then not high, stuff like that don't happen. If I'm not tripping, like show me in your word. And I don't remember, y'all, exactly where he took me in the word, but I remember just flipping, just God, just saying a prayer, God, take me here. Boom. I remember reading something and my heart just went boom, 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 to where I was like, this is undeniable. Yeah. Like God is undeniable, to the point where I'm just tears just flowing down. I'm just crying, right? That was the day where I I would say gave my life back to God for real, to where now even up to this point where he's always, it's not a lot of time that I'm not thinking about God in some way. I remember I even met Re'Gine basically not through God, but leading up to this. I think that's the reason why we actually came together.
I think so too.
Right? Because I had that relationship with God. Yeah. Because during this time, y'all, I'm sitting there going through the Bible every day. There's a certain time in my life where every day I would find a certain verse in the Bible, and I would write some. Very good at writing. Music coming out soon. I'm very good at writing, so I would pick John 3:16, and I would write something with it and just put it on my Instagram so people could just wake up in their day and feel refreshed and see it. And that's where I felt like I was helping, because at that point I feel like everybody need to hear about God. You feel me? So that was my first true, I would say, giving my life to God moment. Then I kind of met Re'Gine, and then we kind of started doing our thing with God as well. We started going to church. Start having kids, gave Jace to God. I remember.
Hold on, we're going too far.
Let's go to my story first. Go to her story. Yeah, because it intertwines. Do all that together. It intertwines.
Okay. So I started being introduced to God, I remember, in elementary school. Mm-hmm. So I think I was 8 or 9. And my mom signed me up for a program called Religious Release. I went to 54th Street Elementary School, and they used to come to the school and get the kids, and you walk down the street to the church. I think we did like 8 or 9, so I'm just guessing on what we did. But I think we did like Bible study. I think we did like sung songs, like taught us how to pray, Father like Abraham. Stuff like that. And I think I did it until I graduated elementary, so until 5th grade.
Okay.
My grandma found a letter. Remember, my grandma found a letter that the teacher had wrote. It was like, you used to love to pray, and you're going to be a great prayer, and God loves you, and da-da-da-da-da. So that's like my first introduction to God. Okay. We didn't necessarily go to church in those times. Okay. But I did that. Okay. So then when I got to middle school, that's when we started to go to church. Okay. So we went to 111. I think it's called Church One now, but it was 111 back then. One God, One Faith, One Baptism is what I think it was called. Yes, sir. In Long Beach, huge church. Everybody in there. To go from not really going to church to a huge church was a transition for us. My mom was in the choir. I did praise dancing. We did like the children's church, like all that stuff. So we were heavy in that, like years, a couple years. Okay. I would say like 3 years minimum. Okay. We left that because our lives changed, and that was far. And then I think we like took a break for a little bit. And then my mom found, what was her name? Remember the lady that used to come to the church that had like the real short haircut, and she would randomly come. Yeah. So I think it's Pastor Pauline. My mom found her. Okay. And then we started to go to church again. Okay. So by this time, I'm in high school, so I could choose if I want to go or not. I didn't have a problem going. My only issue was it was so long. Yeah, man. We're being there for 5-hour churches. It wasn't like I know it's an hour of praise and worship, then an hour of this and an hour of that, we're done. No, you was there like 6 hours. Oh, no. I didn't eat before we got here. I'm ready to go. No. I remember my brother DJ was like, I don't want to go there. I'm not sitting there all day. All day long. Like, it was long to the point where I'm like, I'm okay. So I would go randomly, but it wasn't like a consistent like it was when I was in middle school. Okay. So by this time, high school, it started getting crazy. Yeah, high school, crazy, right? So you start going to parties, start hanging out with your friends more. I got a car at 16, so you weren't driving to church. I'm out the house. I was not driving to church. But I still had a relationship with God. I still knew God. I still had all those same values that I learned. I'm just not physically going to church. Right. So then by this time is when we started to reconnect. Okay. So I remember we weren't talking at first when we went to the gym. Yeah, that was the gym moments. We just were going to the gym. Right. And then our first conversation of like trying to pursue something, we ended up talking about God. Right. And that's why I was like, okay, so he's different. I've never had a conversation with a teenage boy. Me either. That ended up at God. Like most of the conversation was about God. Yeah. So then from then on, we was like, all right, well, let's figure it out. We started talking, and I think it was your birthday, like your first birthday that we were together. Okay. That you wanted to go to church. Okay. So I guess you and your mom had went to a church. Yeah, New Beginnings. Yeah, you guys had went to New Beginning for a service. And you like asked her what was that place because you wanted to go for a service for your birthday. Okay. So then I went with you, obviously, because we were together at this point. Of course. And then that's when it all started. Yeah. Yeah. That's when it started deeper. Yeah. Like I remember as soon as we got in there, they took a liking to us. Immediately. Because we were like the younger ones. It wasn't really any younger people inside the church. So immediately, if you got younger people bringing themselves to church, they eyes glued on you, right? We had a prophetic minister, first lady. She was prophetic, so she would hear stuff from the Spirit, and she would like give us what we needed to hear. So that was special because I had never had that. In the beginning, that's all we did. We only went to the prophetic service. I'm sure. God, what do I need to hear, Jesus? You gotta say to me? So I think like we only went on Fridays for a long time. Sheldon went too. Yeah. But we only went on Fridays for a long time. And then eventually we started just being like, all right, so this is our church.
This is our church home. Yeah, absolutely. To the point where, like you said, me and my homie Sheldon, we did like a revival. Like the pastor came to us, he like, hey, take the youth, bring the youth to the church. So we did like a revival where we had like drummers and poems and stuff. I preached a service. You did. That was my first time preaching. I preached one time. I was so nervous, y'all. The most nervous butterflies I ever had, because I wasn't even nervous for the people in the crowd. Yeah. I was nervous that I felt like God was in the crowd with them. God was watching me like, you better speak my word. But I preached in there.
I got a funny story about that.
Go ahead.
So we got married and didn't tell anybody.
Yeah. Right after Jace, by these same preacher. Yeah.
Jace was 6 months, and they were talking to us about like, are you guys thinking about it? Blah, blah, blah. And we talked to each other, and we're like, we don't have no money, so we can't have no big wedding. So I think we should just get married and like save the wedding for later.
Right.
So by the time he's preaching, we had been married for like a year.
A year already, yeah.
And nobody knew. Like only the pastor and us knew. Right. And Jace.
And Jace was there 6 months. He knew.
Jace was there. So Bishop was introducing you.
Yes.
I'm like standing on the side with Jacob, because I think my grandma and them was there, so they had Jace. So I'm standing on the side with Jacob, and he's like, yeah, I had the pleasure of marrying this young man. I'm like, oh my God. Like, no, he didn't.
Yeah, because we didn't. What? Yeah, I mean, Bishop was older. He was older gentleman. You know, when you marry somebody, that's
I had the pleasure of marrying
him. He said, what's the problem? But he didn't understand during that time. Like I said, we had no money, and we didn't want everybody in our business. And we just felt like it was better for this union to be there instead of your parents being all in your business, and you got to wear this, and because I'm paying for this,
and I went. It would have been a lot.
Yeah, we didn't want to merge the families to quite yet.
Yeah, but I remember like, so he's nervous for preaching. I'm over here losing my mind because the man just announced that we didn't got married in front of the whole church, and nobody in the church knew.
We wasn't wearing rings at that point.
His grandma, his mom, nobody knew.
Yeah, I don't even. And when after that, I don't even think they still. I don't think it dawned on anybody. I don't think anybody came to us. It's like, y'all married? Yeah. I think just me up there preaching was still just like,
shock.
Whoa, Jayson is preaching. Because I don't think they really didn't.
No, they didn't.
Nobody did.
So then we addressed it after that. But I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, we had to address it then, because if he gonna go ahead, God gonna out us like that, you gotta come out yourselves, right?
Yes.
That was a funny story. What else happened interesting during that time?
In the beginning?
Yeah.
Like you're saying, so we were 19, 20, 21 in those times. So we're literally the youngest people in there. Yeah. Like the next age group up was like 10 years older than us.
Yeah. Okay, this is what my heart said to say. Then, as we said, she's prophetic, right? We have a prophetic minister, First Lady. So when we first got in there too, she would like give us things that we needed to hear, like from God, right? So I remember the first thing, what I remember for me, and you could talk for yours, is what she brought me and my homie Sheldon up, and she was like, hey, like, long story short, cameras are gonna follow you around in your life. Like you're gonna be famous, and you're gonna be famous for like speaking the word of God in some form or fashion. So that was like crazy. Your mind goes crazy with little stuff like that. And she would give me like a lot of different little things on the road, just to tell you like you're special, you know, and you have something going. And I remember she said some good stuff to you too.
She said like a lot of stuff, but what I remember most is her saying that she felt like I wasn't open.
Okay.
Like I was scared.
Yeah.
Which I was.
Yes. It's like, deep. It's deep.
If you go in a building and they're like, hey, God said you wore red yesterday, and you actually wore red yesterday, it's like,
absolutely.
It's a little scary.
Absolutely.
So I remember having to understand, like, I'm okay. It's okay.
Absolutely.
He see you all the time. Yeah. You know that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I even remember, but like, didn't she give you like the prophecy of where your business was gonna go?
Oh,
and where it's already clearly heading to at this point.
Yeah. Well, that time I was heavy in the hair.
Okay.
So she more so saw the hair taking off.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when I switched over to baking, then for sure,
yeah, it was like I think just I don't know. I don't remember. I don't want to talk your business. It's been years.
You might spark me to remember.
It's been years, but I think I remember like seeing you. She's like seeing you with basically the busy baking turns into manufacturing. Where it becomes so big that we can't even handle it in house. Like it becomes like Black Betty Crocker.
It would have to be like I would have to get like a warehouse.
Yes, exactly.
To be able to fulfill all the orders.
Exactly. And that's.
I remember she said it would be like. So it was another girl that baked in the church too.
Right.
So she said like, so your business, you're just gonna get to a point where you're gonna have to put like signs on your cars and stuff like that. I remember for me, she was like, it's gonna get to a point where you're gonna have to get vans.
Yeah, absolutely.
And wrap them with your logo.
Come on now. We on our way, right?
Exactly. And I don't know. No, this is before New Beginning. I remember leaving work one day. I think this is before you too. Okay. I remember leaving work one day and I'm driving down La Brea and I'm like sitting at La Brea, Manchester, and where Doolin's is. And I just like had a like quick vision of me seeing a business that said Busy Baking on the corner.
Oh, that's dope.
In the colors and all of that stuff. And I'm like, am I tripping? So you just like write it off.
Of course.
I remember she also told me that I had vivid dreams and that he would use my dreams to talk to me.
Absolutely.
And we're just now.
Honestly, y'all, we just now starting to crack into what I feel like the fulfillment of what kind of goes on. What else special? I think that was all kind of special during those times.
Yeah, it was just new. It was just new and exciting because we were doing it ourselves.
Absolutely. Wasn't your mom getting up, taking us, your grandma waking you up and saying
we were getting our parents and grandparents to come to church.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember you got your friends to come. I got some of my friends to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We was going for a while. Yeah. And then kind of like COVID happened and it kind of shut everything down. So that was like 2020, right? Yeah. So that kind of shut everything down to where everybody, didn't have the money. They worried about group gatherings. They about to shut you down. So that kind of took us off course a little bit from church, at least.
From a physical building.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so from church at least, because we still super heavy.
I remember being at the shop and I would get there early, obviously, to set up. And I would just be listening to like Mike Todd and all kind of sermons and stuff before I even start my day. Got to get my mind right.
I feel you.
So even though we weren't physically going to church, we were still seeking God for ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Like in my music that I didn't put out all during these times, I would like write poems to God. Like all my music, when y'all hear it, is obviously about God. So God was definitely still 100% in the picture when we still working, going through stuff.
I feel like we got closer to God when we did step away from a physical church.
True, because then you don't have the pastor telling you what you should hear.
We have to figure it out for ourselves. If you want to know something, you're gonna have to crack that Bible open.
Absolutely.
And talk to God for yourself.
Absolutely. If you want to keep going, because some people, they gonna deter. You're gonna have some friends that they gonna come for that moment with you, and then they gonna move over to the right. So yeah, we definitely. Glad we had our union because we still definitely kept God 100% in the picture, 100% with all the little things we knew, like especially as your stuff is growing, we knew like with every child, usually guys, like with every child, like we just get like some increase. Yeah. God throws like a different thing to where life changes. And we for sure always knew like it's kind of God that keeps pushing us up the levels of what's going on. Absolutely. Like, cause right now, it feel like a level is being pushed again. We're starting to do podcasts. I'm about to put on music. We got 175K, which didn't happen a year ago. That wasn't like that. Not happening. So we definitely keep going up levels, and I know he in the midst.
I feel like so now that I'm older, I got kids, I have more life experience. I know God's voice better than I did at 19, 20, 21.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when we said I wouldn't have done the shop if I understood God's talking to me, because he told me no. He said this one is not for you.
Yeah.
And I said, maybe it is.
Maybe it is.
Maybe so.
He gonna let you learn. He gonna let you learn.
That too. Like even the fact that God would allow you to make your own choices and still give you grace.
Absolutely.
To learn through those choices and not completely ruin your life.
Absolutely.
Because that could have ruined our whole life.
Absolutely. Like I was just reading in the Bible, Jacob, and where he like takes some of what he tells Rebecca that she's going to do this, this, and that, and he will be the head of everyone, like over his brother basically, but they still like meddle and like just like try to bend the wheel, but God still be having his hand on you while, you know, you may go to this party that you know you're not supposed to be in and somebody might get shot, but you still here, right? So he always just kind of has his hand on you if you kind of, I feel like just establish that with him young or just through your life. He always still is moving through the cracks, like she said. Even when we choose to do something, he's still like keeping his hand on you moving.
I remember when you talked about you smoking weed.
Yeah.
So I remember it had to be like my 18th birthday, and I was with Destiny and Christina, I believe, and we're like, we don't know where we're going. We're just trying to find something to do. And we go to the gas station first. And it was two dudes there from, I don't know, they weren't even from here. And they're like, y'all want to smoke? I don't really smoke. I'm not really with that. But I'm like, I guess like
you gonna offer
yeah. It, huh? And I just remember being in the car and they're just it's just going. Like you said, 5? It's 5 or 6, just going. Yeah, and I'm just cracked out the crack of the window like, God,
man, air.
What did I do? Like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And that like just let me know that just because everybody else is doing it, doesn't mean you have to do it, Re'Gine.
Absolutely. Because I used to try to.
I remember in that car, they were like passing me up like, there you go. I'm like barely even doing anything. And I just felt within myself like that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So even God allowing me to be strong within myself, to not feel like I have to do this because everybody else is doing it.
Absolutely.
Like I didn't understand that was God in that moment, but that's what that is.
Absolutely. Like just to piggyback on what you're saying, like after that moment that I had with Sheldon, like all my friends was we still 18 at this point. So all my friends still want to party, drink. They drinking liquor straight. They still doing that. But after I had that moment with God, I told them like, that's over for me. Like, can we go bowling and stuff? And I got outcasts off of not trying to be in the midst of what's going on. So like you said, like God still gives you that ability. I think we're definitely not followers in the fact that we could like stand on our own and just know that like God principles need to supersede all this other stuff that kind of still goes on. And that's kind of, I think, why we're here right now. Right?
And so you have to be okay with being alone at times.
Oh, absolutely. In the wilderness. Oh, absolutely.
So if everybody around you smoke weed and everybody around you want to party and everybody around you want to do all this stuff, and that no longer fulfills you, you don't feel right doing that anymore. It's okay to step away.
You got to give it up because he tells us not to be like the world.
Right.
And that's the world. Let's just be 100% honest. If everybody beating the drum, you ain't got to.
Right.
You don't have to. You could be the one playing the flute. You could be the one doing something on the other side. And if
those people don't understand that you don't want to play the flute, those not your people.
That's not your people. And he got a whole bunch of people. See, this is what I'm still even learning to this day, to be honest, that it's a whole bunch of other people that's just waiting for you to play the flute with them.
Exactly.
But the world, the social media, the friends groups, the demons that we involved in, all the different stuff just keeps your mind kind of looking towards the world, literally, like we saying. But if you just take that time to stay in that wilderness for a while, like how Jesus was in the world, but before he had to make his main mission to everybody else, he had to take him 40 days away from everybody, you know, and that's huge. One of the most important things, I think, because that's like the mindset of the devil messing with you, and you got to be like, nah, like I'm good. Like I don't need weed anymore. I don't need pornography. I don't need friends per se. I don't need any of these things to make me feel whole. And that's what I think this whole thing that we're going in right now is made out of, is that you need God first before all these other things that we be trying to put before him.
And they try to tell you go find your spouse, go do this, go do that. I was working on myself.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good point.
I was not looking for no man.
That's a good point. I kind of was. I ain't gonna lie.
was not looking for nothing. Yeah. I was literally working. Yeah. I was trying to go work out. I was trying to make myself better.
Yeah.
No. Obviously, I was open to it if it happened, but it's not like, oh my God, where am I going? Like, I wasn't like,
no.
God will bring it to you when it's supposed to come to you.
Absolutely. So then to piggyback on what she's saying, I think we touched on it in one of our videos, but even before the moments that we had after school or after high school, we had a moment, a supernatural moment. I have 2 supernatural moments in my life, or 3, I guess, that one I told y'all about, but another one was with her where literally I remember just me walking down the stairs of our old middle school and her walking up the stairs of our middle school. And like she said, we kissed, but we have no idea, y'all.
We don't know.
To this day, we have no idea. It literally, I almost see like a ball of energy. I don't even know what I see. I don't know what I see, but something absolutely happened, y'all, to the point where I just remember coming out of it and I'm like walking all the way down the hallway, but I was just walking on the stairs. Like, this don't even make sense.
I just remember being back in the gym.
See, you was all the way back at the gym. Yeah. See, exactly.
And I think I'm like back in the gym. I'm like, did you just kiss me? Like, what
just happened? Right? So something happened, and I know something. We know something happened because here we are right now. And he moved us and then brought us back together at that time. Because I even went to high school with you. I didn't see if she had her boyfriend.
It couldn't have happened.
I didn't see. I was chasing girls.
It couldn't have happened.
We didn't see each other none through high school. So I had a friend that even had to come to like remind me. Her like she wasn't even on my mind.
Me and the friend have the same exact birthday.
Yeah, it's very
How
pointed.
How crazy is that?
It's very pointed. Like, so he brung her up and I was just like, how's she doing? So which led us to working out and doing this stuff. So just God has his hand on you. That's basically what we saying. Like, when you chosen, but you could choose God too, and I absolutely know he'll choose you back, right? And I have another moment, it just made me think about one other moment, supernatural moment I want to touch on that I just know. It was one night, y'all, I'm in the back, the back, y'all know what the back is. It's called my back house, right? I'm in my back house and I'm in my room by myself. And I remember it being like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, right? And we have a big tree that sits outside of our window, right? Okay, so I'm chilling. I was like, okay, I want to turn the light off now, right? So you know how the light is like shining out of the window, like onto the tree, okay? So I remember going to do, one of those little things where you have to twist the thing off. And I remember we have like a big tree, and I remember like a demon. I'm gonna call it for what it is now. It was like a 7 foot. It was not a normal height. I'm 6 feet, y'all. So I know what height did. It was like a 7 foot spirit. It looked like a man, right? Like, but all black. But you could tell it wasn't a person because you would be able to see a person because the light was shining. So the person I was seeing was without features. It was just all black. And I remember he was just sitting on the tree, like just sitting against the tree. And as soon as I looked at it, like once you stare, first you just like, am I tripping? So once 2 seconds of am I tripping go, I just saw the thing go. I freaked out. I remember my mom had closed her door because it was like time to go to sleep at this point. So she probably in there asleep. I remember just banging on her door like, Mom, come right now. And I remember even when my mom came in, she said she saw the figure like move out of the window or whatever. But just saying that to say, I feel like we are chosen. God is definitely, he says we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. We wrestle against principalities. Just saying that to say we have watchers. We have different things that go on in supernatural realm. And I think God even showed me that during that time to just let you know, AJ, keep your antennas up for what's to come. Because it's a deep world, but that's something else spiritual. I just want to throw in there that I'm not afraid. I used to be afraid of that kind of stuff because that is, that kind of sits with you because we didn't really talk about it too much after that. It just kind of went, it just kind of goes on. But I ain't afraid no more. Just let him know if he's still watching. I ain't afraid no more. But God always still has his hands on you because I'm extremely blessed right now, and it just keeps going. What else could we talk about?
We just started the book about learning how to use your dreams for God.
Yeah.
Like how to interpret your dreams through God. So I remember a dream that I had right after First Lady told me that I would be able to travel in my dreams. Was it was like a desert.
Okay.
And there's like a hole in the ground, and there's like water in the hole, and I'm in like an elevator. Why is an elevator box
in a
desert in the hole in the ground? I don't know. But I remember I'm like confused trying to figure out what's happening.
Where am I at?
Because most of the time my dreams is like places I've been or like stuff like that, like familiar places. I ain't been to no desert with no hole in the ground.
I've been there.
Like, okay, so I'm looking around in the elevator and I just hear a voice like very calm, very sweet, and it's like, I'm here with you. God is real. Just believe.
Simple.
I didn't see no face. I didn't see no. I feel somebody next to me, but I can't see you. But I heard that, and I'm like, okay. And then I remember from that point on, I was like, God is real. But I know God is real. But I now know.
Yeah, it gives
I
you
have
confirmation. Absolutely.
That God is real.
Absolutely.
And I don't remember having any more dreams like that. But I do remember recently, like last year, year before last, I started getting more like into podcasts that talk about God and stuff like that. And you seek him, he gonna come get you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you seek God, he will meet you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So like we've been reading Awe of God, Beta Satan. It's like a list of books that we could put down at the bottom for you guys to start reading, to start on your journey, for you to hear God for yourself.
Read the actual Bible.
Yeah.
You can start there because it's a story. When you first open that, I know it sounds like a fairy tale almost, because we don't live in those times anymore at all. But oh no, you're going to get something out of it. If you open your eyes and seek with an open and honest heart, he'll absolutely
So start from the beginning. Start from Genesis.
In the beginning.
And ask God for new understanding.
Absolutely.
Even though we've read this stuff before, like literally every single time that we start over, we find out something new.
Absolutely. Like people, like when you go, I feel like when you go to church, they make it seem like God is like some, which he probably is, but like some far away super being that you can't really get in contact with, and that's just like the farthest thing from the truth. Like God created us to commune with. Like he created us so that we could talk back and forth with him. Like if you go read your Bible, he was walking in the garden with Adam. He was there. So he made humans to go back and forth with. So I don't think people really understand like it's a relationship. So if you could talk to God just like we're sitting here talking with each other, like you need to go in your quiet place. Your quiet place is inside you. I ain't gonna tell you this either, but your quiet place, they'll think a quiet place is like just when you just go somewhere and shut the door. That's good too, and you can talk to him out loud too. But your quiet place is inside of you, because that's where it's gonna start. That's where it's gonna come from. It's your heart, your mind, your soul. It's come from inside. Like if we all be quiet right now and say God in our minds, that's that voice you need to be talking to, right? So they don't tell you that, but the more deeper you get involved with like that inside and talking to God on the inside, he absolutely will start to show you stuff in the physical realm that you could take to the bank where them people be like, no, I had that moment with God, and you ain't gonna tell me God ain't real. I know. Right? And that's where it starts to go, and just the more and more you do it, he opens himself up to you, and you don't need to be perfect. He know you sin. He know you sin. He know exactly what you're doing. So it's not about perfection. It's not about internet. It's just about seeking with an open and honest heart. Right? Yeah. Okay. So just stick with God, and he got your back. You feel me? This was another one with us. Number 4. Just stick with God. He got your back.
Start your journey today.
It's
never too late to start. Or start over.
I'm dropping this Friday.
Yes.
Okay, this Friday. This gonna come out Tuesday.
Okay.
This Friday, I'm dropping my first music video. Right? Mm-hmm. And I can even highlight this real quick to end on, because I know that without God, I wouldn't be dropping this music video.
I know
because maybe the people that know me in my latter life wouldn't believe this, but before, when I was in like middle school and I was a younger kid, elementary, I was like practically mute. Like, I didn't talk. I was extremely anxious, shy, all those different things. Like, when people talk to me, I just kind of curled up into a ball. So for even God to tell me like I could be in front of millions of people, hopefully at one point, to speak his word in music form and outside of music form, because I want to talk to y'all like this. We can have deeper conversation about God, to be honest. We can go on for days about God. So just the fact that I could finally come out of my shell, because I've been holding, she's been telling me for this whole journey that it's my turn too. It's we do this together. Mm-hmm. So finally I'm about to break out into my journey as well in front of the people. So I know that I wouldn't be nothing, and it wouldn't be nothing without God, Jesus, Holy Spirit in my life. So just shout out to them, you know. That's where we at. Yeah. And I thank y'all again for coming in. This is Jay and Ray. Again, episode 4. Please follow us, like, watch it, all that good stuff.
Share with your friends.
Man, G-O-D is the topic today, and we're going to come back and we're going to have some more topics. Y'all can give us some topics too that you kind of want us to go in, because now I think we're going to start to go out.
Yeah, we're a little bit more free now. So we've gotten most of our story out. The rest we can like put out randomly as the topics come.
Yeah, we talk about some good stuff. We talk about Jay-Z, talk about Diddy. What y'all want us to talk? Y'all want us to talk about? I don't know. You know, Kamala. We can talk about. We can talk about politics. We can talk about all that good stuff. But we love y'all. Thank you again. This is us. Peace. Bye.